Welcome, Anatomy of a Movie fans, for Movie News August 6th, 2014. Sarah, go ahead and kick us off.
So, you guys, Jennifer Lee, who's the director of Frozen and the writer of Frozen, is going to adapt A Wrinkle in Time. So this is really exciting. It's being brought to us by Disney. Right now, Jennifer's only set to write the adaptation. She's not set to direct. So we'll have to kind of see where that goes.
I'm excited because I read the book multiple times. I'm a fan of the book. And I did actually see the TV movie in the 2000s. Which was okay for, especially for a TV movie. I thought it was actually very well made. But now I want to see the full franchise because there's The Wrinkle in Time, but there's the two other books.
Do you think this is a good, Disney World?
It can be. I mean, it's what I like about it is it can be a little bit lighter, but it can also go on the darker side. For me, given my age and gender, I would prefer it to be on the darker side. But I can enjoy it if it's on the lighter side as well.
You think that Jennifer Lee would kind of go towards that more happy Disney than
I
the
think
dark
so.
version? Okay.
Especially with Disney, and I think they're gonna make this a kid franchise.
We'll have to see. She's a really good writer, so I'm excited. And her past two films I've been big fans of. What's next, Phil?
Well, Jurassic World, the fourth installment of the Jurassic Park series, just finished taping, and the director tweeted out a picture of the slate, as well as a Tyrannosaurus Rex about to eat it. I'm really excited. I'm a fan of the books. I'm a fan of the movies. It's going to be a little bit more until we get there, but at least we're now done taping, so we can continue editing and the post-production process and have it out by next year.
I feel like there's this ongoing battle between Jurassic World and basically Star Wars of okay, let's release a new photo from the set every couple of weeks to keep people entertained. And I'm like, it's so far away, guys. I mean, Jurassic World obviously not finished taping. That's exciting. But they're just trying to build up so much anticipation. I'm like, it's already there. Give everyone a little bit of a break.
I know. I get what you're saying, especially, there's another story that I'll talk about of stuff being released. And it's one of those things that if you just know too much, it's a little bit too much. Especially if you follow a movie that's set to release in 3-4 years from now and every week you're getting news about it.
You can put it together. To me, it's like when you see a trailer that has every funny moment and then you go see the movie and you're like, oh, I could have just watched the trailer again. And I don't like that. I want to be surprised. I want to be left in the dark with some things. It makes the movie-going experience more.
I get it. Well, apart from this one photo, which what I like about this is that it doesn't really give anything away because it's just a slate and a T-Rex. And, for the most part, we knew that was going to be the case. So
True.
At least it's not set photos.
Well, on another movie that's really big about the promotion, you guys got some more news about Hunger Games. Lorde, the 17-year-old New Zealand songstress, I guess would be a word for her, has been appointed the sole curator of the music for the next Hunger Games film. So at 17 years old, this girl is already winning awards and selling records like crazy, and now she's going to be adding not only singing the lead single for the film, but the actual supervisor of the full soundtrack for Hunger Games.
Is that what that means? Because now with Hans Zimmer, they have executive music producer, right? And they have all these titles that no one's ever heard of. Is he the music composer? What does that mean? And so when you say sole curator for the music, I'm like, what exactly does that entail?
From what it seems to me, is not only will she be singing on the soundtrack, but she also has a voice as to what other artists to bring on, which songs to bring on, really shaping the film through the music. And that's a huge part of franchises like this. The soundtracks sell really well. So it's a big deal.
I would like to be executive music producer, composer.
Just I would like to be Lorde in general.
Fair enough. And other kind of, I mentioned this about photos being leaked. There was a little video clip of Batman v Superman where Ben Affleck has gray hair. And that's stirring up a lot of stuff because obviously it goes towards Bruce Wayne being a little bit older. And again, to me, I don't know necessarily
what Maybe he just dealt with a lot of stress, and it's coming out in his gray hair.
It's true, and it's one of those things that I don't, we can talk about and things like that, but I don't necessarily want to speculate on a movie that's so far away, that's just now still filming. And especially for these types of movies when you want to be surprised, and when the surprise isn't there, and again, is it that significant that he has gray hair?
No, and I think we all know Ben Affleck he's not old, but he's definitely a mature actor. Like, he's father, he's married. Like, does it really bother me that they're just like giving him some gray hair? Not at all. At least they're not trying to make him seem like a 20-year-old. That would bother me.
To be honest, though, I do want Batman v Superman to come out next week. I am
You're gonna have to wait.
I'm excited. I really want to know what this concoction is gonna be.
It's going to be great. It's going to be a fantastic film. Very big budget, obviously. But let's talk about a smaller film coming from a big director. Tim Burton has a new project coming out, set to be released by this winter, because they want it to, kind of go for that awards push. It's called Big Eyes, and it has Amy Adams, it has Christoph Waltz, and as I said, it's from Tim Burton. So this movie's following an artist that came around in the 1950s and 60s, who was famous for making these portraits and pictures with big doe-eyed characters. And then drama ensued because her husband was selling them under his name because they thought it would make more money. And then they went through a divorce, and then there was a whole legal battle. But it has really big names in it, and it looks like it's going to be good. But definitely one of the smaller films coming from the Weinstein Company.
One of the things that I've noticed, and maybe it's just because I'm taking more notice, is that a lot of the really good films are now being pushed into that November, December time slot. Whereas before, at least when I was in college, I remember The Departed being released in September, October, and things of that nature. And I enjoyed seeing those movies.
Keeping it fresh in their mind.
You have all these movies that you have to see in the shortest amount of time possible. I just wish they could still spread it out. I understand the politics of it. We'll talk about it once again when we build up to the Oscars. But I'm excited for the movie.
Exactly.
There's going to be so many other movies to see.
And I think it's going to be a different thing to see from Tim Burton. Recently, he's been so attached to films like Alice in Wonderland that are, over the top and kind of crazy. And this looks like it's going to be a much more naturalistic film. So I'm excited to see him kind of go down that path again in his creation.
Well, we have a lot of Glee fans. One
Glee?
being a Marissa Serafini, who's not here today. She's on vacation, but she's going to
a little break from film, going to TV for a second, guys.
Well, we're literally transitioning from TV to film because Glee star Harry Shum Jr. joins the cast of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon 2. This is news to me for a couple of reasons. One, that it has a Glee star acting in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon 2. The second one being that there's a second Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It's apparently based on the Iron Knight Silver Vase, which is book 5 in the Crane Iron Pentalogy. I'm never going to be Pentology series. And so this was, this is the series that the original was based off of. The Weinstein Company is producing it. I have no idea what to expect. I've never
Crouching
read
Tiger,
these books.
Hidden Dragon is one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's a really good movie.
I love it. I watch it probably at least once a year. It's one of those movies that I really don't know if you make a sequel to, especially, no offense, but
what
with
about
someone
if
from
there's
Glee.
books?
I understand that, but that's such a standalone, amazing film, and it's something that they did so well that could have been so cheesy, and I feel like, Glee's a bubbly show, and I'm not saying that they're all bubbly actors, but
to be fair, he's not in the starring role. It's not. You understand that?
Do you see the worry on my face? It's a little worrisome.
I understand, but it's still going to be authentic. And you know what? I'm a little bit calmed down by the fact that the Weinstein Company is doing it. They, especially with these types of movies, they have their producer's hand in it, but also they do want to retain the artist's vision and the nature of what it is.
If they bring back the nature of the first film, I will be so happy. But it does worry me because that film is so dear to my heart. I want to talk a little bit about Nebraska. We did
switching things up.
I'm switching over to Nebraska. We talked about this on Anatomy of a Movie. We dissected it. And one of the things we mentioned was that Alexander Payne had to make a color version of the black and white Nebraska. And he had to do that for, I believe it was 2 countries, and that had color restrictions. But now Paramount Pictures' owned television network, Epix, is scheduled to show the film on Sunday, not in the theatrical release of black and white, but also in the color format. So I don't know how Alexander Payne's feeling about this. His original preference was that it not be shown in color. He did not want anyone to see it that way.
Question: did he just shoot it in color, just in general? Because here's the thing: like, had he just shot it on black and white film, this never would have been a problem.
But he might have known, in general, for distribution, that there were some color necessary.
Yeah, but this is like spitting in his face, because he's openly said, "I do not want this movie released in color."
Yeah, I don't. It's a battle between, does the studio actually have the right to do this? Obviously legally, but morally, like, this is an artistic vision, and it feels like he's just being like, kind of, his film's just being pushed where they want it to go. And I'm sure all the talk about it will get more people to watch it in color to see what it's like. But
here's the thing. I mean, especially for him, there was that period before Descendants where he didn't make a movie for 8 years, right? And he's just hitting his stride. And I feel he is an emotional person, and so this could be. I hope it's not damaging to him. But if he sees that people aren't going along with his vision, I don't know. I just don't want it to have bigger repercussions in the sense that we won't get another Alexander Payne movie for another 8 years.
Do you feel the need to watch it in color?
I feel the need to watch it in black and white because I still haven't seen it.
There you go. See, I saw it in black and white, and I'm just so happy with the film that if that's the vision he had, I was happy with it, and I don't need to see it in the color version. And
the good news is, everyone that has seen the movie, they love the movie for what it is. And I don't, none of them's ever complained like, yeah, it was a good movie, but if only it was in color. Like, that's never come up. And nor has it come up of like, oh, wow, that it was great, but it was all in black. Like, no one's even talked about that fact.
No, it's been a little bit in the news about people saying or characterizing it as more of like an artsy film that only like theater snobs go to because it's in black and white.
Okay, but what about the artist? Remember that? That was A silent, B black and white. Would you change that to be not silent and not black and white?
And I'm not saying they should change this either. But Paramount Pictures seems to think it's a good idea.
Fair enough.
Do you have all of our box office information, Phil?
I do. All right. No surprise here. Guardians of the Galaxy topping the list.
I predicted that. So did everyone else, but I'm claiming it too.
Congratulations.
Thank you. You
are all smart with the masses. It's the highest earning movie for August. With it came in at 94.3 million. That's quite a lot. Good news is we did a dissection on Lucy, and that's still continuing to earn. That came in at 18 million. After that, Get On Up came in at 13 million for the weekend. Hercules, it's really falling, unfortunately. That only made 11 million. I mean, that's a lot of money, but for that movie.
But it's a big drop for such a.
And then at number 5, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes at 8.5 million.
So those are our top 5, all very big budget. I don't even know how to categorize them. Big blockbuster films.
At number 10 is A Most Wanted Man.
There we go.
Which is that's
kind of a specialty box office getting in there.
That's right, and that's a movie that we will be doing this Friday on the Mothership Show, Anatomy of a Movie.
Perfect.
Well, that's your movie news for August 6th. Thank you guys for joining us yet again. Leave your comments below on what you guys think. Also, if there's other movie news in the week that we haven't touched upon that you wanted to discuss with whether us or fans, just comment below, and we'll all talk about it. See you here next time.